Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 217th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we're asking an interesting question, which is, would you ever spy on your neighbor? Before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of things to cover. First, have you downloaded the episode? Not just listened, but have you downloaded the episode on WokeNFree.com through the Podbean app? If you haven't, then you're missing out on the critical opportunity to be able to join the conversation. If you have the app, then you can add your comments, and that's how you can talk with us, which is what we want every single week, y'all. Now, of course, if you cannot download the Podbean app for whatever the reason, then we ask that you go to WokeNFree.com, you go on the listen tab, and you pick your platform of choice where you want to listen to the show and support us. So you can holler at us and support us on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, WokeNFree World. That's what this is. Now, also on WokeNFree.com, make sure you click subscribe to follow the show. And then on social media, you can always holler at us and connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokeNFree. And then lastly, if you have 90 seconds, yes, 90 seconds, we'd love for you to go on the listen tab on WokeNFree.com and pick your platform of choice where you want to review us at, because, you know, more 5-star reviews could not hurt, y'all. Kicking it to you, Khalil.
Then let's just jump right into it. Would you ever spy on your neighbor?
The answer here would be a hard pass, right? I definitely would not want to do that because A, I would not want that done to me. And one thing though, a caveat though, I would add is that with our technology and is it called the Ring something? You know how people have the camera on the outside
There's many
of the house?
types. I don't know why people only bring up one.
Okay. So the only thing is, if that constitutes spying, that would be the only exception where I would say yes, because, you know, we did have that incident that happened last year where folks were in the neighborhood and were being a bit naughty. And thankfully, we did have a neighbor who was kind of paying close attention to what was happening. And because of that naughty behavior and those naughty actors were caught in their naughty action. And, you know, not too much harm had happened, but, you know, that's the only exception. I wouldn't necessarily spy, but I would implore having technology that allows me to see the different corners around my property.
So you just want a camera?
Correct.
Okay, so that's okay in your
I
mind.
think so, because unfortunately people
having the camera
still do the thing where they take packages or they try to
there's
burglarize
like
you.
that.
So that's why I say that's an exception to the spying, if that would constitute spying. But what about you?
I don't know if that really counts as spying. Mm-hmm. You'd have to have the cameras aimed inside your
neighbor's home.
Yeah. It'd have to, but that's the thing. Technically, the camera does capture.
Do that, right? Yeah.
Well, not about can, but usually when you set up a camera, you're not just capturing your property, but you capture some of your surrounding neighbor's property.
Yeah.
So it's by like a byproduct. You technically do spy on your neighbors partially, but do you go and view the footage? Is the question. That's the thing. Are you always looking at the footage and seeing what you catch?
That's creepy.
Another question.
Scary answer. Very scary question, yeah.
Yeah, so my answer to this is a hard yes, because I'd like to make sure that my neighbor is not the killer. I think that's pretty important to know that. So you can watch the behaviors of your neighbor.
Pleasant.
And just, you know, plot in your head to know, are they doing something mischievous? Like, why do they bring those big body bags in every night? You know, that's things like that. If you see weird things happen,
why they... Theoretically and fictionally, I'm assuming.
And realistically, when I see a weird car parked outside with like, that's made out of rust, you know, I'm gonna have to say, what's going on? Why did that car come around?
Oh my goodness!
How come there's cars missing wheels on it? And,
Lord!
All these different. You got to wonder what's happening there. That's why I like to spy on my neighbors. Like that's what I go for. All
right.
Yes.
Well, then the question, and this should be very easy for you, which is, why would someone want to spy on a neighbor? Since you fit that category.
Well, yeah, I could give you just some more specific things that people think of, because I mean, there's a ton of reasons that somebody should do it.
Okay.
But let's just start off with some of these ones. So, like I said, my thing is you got to check if they are up to no good. You know, I mean, what if your neighbors engage in some illicit activities that brings your house like under fire in terms of it can cause damage to your house or something? Like they're putting up a pool, but it's not it doesn't follow local ordinances. Yeah. So it's like up against your fence, and then that pool breaks and it destroys your fence. Now you're going to have to talk about your neighbor. Like, hey man, but if you were spying on them, you could see that they were starting to build this, and you could destroy it, or you could talk to them about it. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to destroy the thing they were trying to put up, but you could tell them.
Hopefully not destroy other people's property.
But they're about to destroy your fence though by putting up their garbage. But you should probably talk to them about
it.
You could talk to them about it. And then if they're like cutting down, so here it's legal in this state. If you have like leaves or if you have branches that are coming into you're going into your neighbor's property, they can cut the branches and throw it onto your property. Wow. So at least if you spy on them, you know that they're doing that and it's not like some person from some different area just dropping off trees in your backyard. So see, that's good. So that's a good reason to spy on them. Yeah. Another thing is you want to see what kind of guests they are bringing to the neighborhood. Make sure they're not bringing the local good drug dealer to your neighborhood. Good Lord. Because that's, I mean, drug dealers can be good, but I think they're doing illegal activities. So you don't want to have that in your neighborhood.
In theory, right? In theory, yeah.
Yeah. So you would not want that in your neighborhood. Probably, maybe. And another thing is great is you could see if they're hiding something because who knows where the demons hide. I mean, your neighbor might know, right?
Nice. Okay.
It's possibility. I don't know. Just what are they hiding? What's in that graveyard?
What's that in that graveyard? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You're burying stuff every night.
Oh my.
You gotta wonder.
Okay.
So this applies to certain people, and it's how you find out intimate parts about your neighbor's life. So some people get very obsessed with people. So if you spy on your neighbor, then you can find out a lot about them.
Are you talking about something nefarious?
Not nefarious, but I'm just saying reasons why people do. These aren't reasons why I would do it.
Are you trying to say you want to discover other people's sex life?
It can be that. It doesn't have to. It could just be what type of like underwear they wear.
Okay.
Because you could say, man, I should buy silk underwear. They wear that. It seems like it's comfortable.
You're really presenting or painting a really interesting picture right now.
No, I'm just saying why. Because
as to the type of neighbor you are.
No, it's not about me. I'm just saying, see, that's the thing. These reasons are just for other people.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's this, like, a reasoning. So just think about that, the intimate parts. And it could just be, they like to read a good book before going to bed every night.
Yeah, naked with a nice cup of cocoa.
You can find out what time they shower, stuff like that.
Wow.
What
type of deodorant they use.
Yeah, some people like that information. It keeps their mind going. So that's just something to think about.
Oh my gosh.
And then another one is voyeurism, and that's when you take pleasure in watching others engage in intimate activities like undressing. So that's another one.
Problems.
That's why people get telescopes, right? They're not looking at the stars.
Oh my god.
You gotta always wonder, why does that neighbor really have the telescope?
I'm gonna pray for you.
And then a good one is like somebody like James Bond would think like this is reconnaissance. You find out information about your neighbors to sell to others.
Wowzers. So these are different reasons why people are doing this. This is horrifying.
These are some things to think about.
Well, the thoughts that came to mind were curiosity. To your point, I do think people have an interesting fascination with how other people live and act. So I definitely think that there's value to spying for those folks. And again, this is coming from the perspective not of mine, but
disclaimer.
But just letting everyone know with the theoretical reason as to why people spy. Am I spying? Absolutely not. I have no interest in this at all.
You don't spy with your little eye?
No, I could care less.
Wow.
As long as, I don't feel my life or my livelihood is being threatened, y'all do what you want to do in life, because, like I said, I would love that privacy for myself as well. I do think there's infatuation. There's some people who are into seeing other people, especially the people they see that they live next to, and they want to get to know more of them. So, to your point, yeah, maybe people go through your trash, or maybe they take that telescope and they point it to the direction of your home, because they might be infatuated with you. Also, safety concerns. To your point, people are concerned about who's coming into their neighborhood. So maybe that's why they're spying. I think sexual attraction is another level of driving force as to why someone would spy. Also, I do think that there's just a lack of community. I can't recall the news article that I came across that said that just generally across the United States, there's just a lack of community, that most people don't know their neighbors. They don't know who they live next to, which is a safety issue, because you don't know then if you're living next to the killer, because you don't have a sense of community with everyone. So.
I forgot a big issue that happens because of that, because guess what happens now? You don't know your neighbor, a really bad thing. If you run out of sugar, you can't get any more.
I don't even know what the reference of sugar really is here, so I'm just going to...
But isn't that a messed up thing when you think about it?
When have you ever gone to someone's house?
I haven't. We're in that dangerous zone. If we ever run out of sugar, we're out.
You go to Walmart.
That's what they're closed? You need to do. No, what if they're closed?
Then I guess
you need it for your recipe.
Make an alternative meal.
Wow, so you can risk the chocolate chip cookies over not talking to the neighbor who could have saved your day?
I can buy you pre-made chocolate chip cookies.
No, but I'm saying if you get to that point, you had the craving, you were about to bake, and you realize you're out of sugar.
Would you like me to run to a house and ask for sugar?
You can't do that because you don't know. Then. You got to know your neighbors on at least that level. Like most, I don't think people
mental
know
health
neighbors.
Concerns.
It's a big issue.
Why people might be spying, just because I think that mental health plays a role in many different aspects of our life. So
I guess
especially could be a reason. Maybe you have anxiety, or maybe you have like obsessive compulsive or paranoia. So that could drive your desire to spy on others. And then also just a lack of things to do, aka boredom, which is not a problem you or I suffer with. There's too much to do, much less to ever be bored. But for some reason, that boredom is still sometimes a problem for folks, which
definitely
I wish they would listen to WokeNFree, and because we would give them ideas and things to help people never be bored, because there's so much to do in this world. It's not even funny. We're all going to die with things on the table left to be done.
A good one is, instead of pointing that telescope at your neighbors, point at the stars and name all the stars you want. Absolutely. You can start your own name star website.
And we have a whole episode on that as well. so there you go.
You can do that.
So another key question here then would be, what are signs that a neighbor is spying on you?
This is hard. I mean, I think if you actively engage with the neighbor, what you probably could do is you can try to get it out of them, maybe that they're doing something more that they aren't admitting to. So what you would do is you would look into their eyes, and then you're going to peer deep inside of them, and then you can know, are they hiding a secret from you? So using that skill of just looking into someone's deep inner self, that will help. And then another thing is you can ask these questions to yourself about the neighbor. Are they capping on the regular? Are they sweating around you? And it's not summer? You interrupted the questions that we were going through. You can ask yourself.
On the regular. What are you referring to?
I got to define this for the oldies. The old fogies.
You need to define this for people who speak English. What are you referring to?
This is the newfangled language of these modern times.
Oh
yes, this is language that these kids speak. These youngsters. This is the terms they come up with.
For the old 35-year-olds and up. What the frick does that mean?
So you want to know what the question means, or a specific word?
What does are they capping on the regular mean?
So what does that whole question
mean?
So this could be replaced pretty easy. I just had to put it this way so the youngsters, they know.
The youngsters, okay.
Yeah, I want them to understand what's going on. Okay. And they see this hits home with them, and it's actually simple. It just means, are they lying on normally? Are they always lying?
Oh God. Okay, come on.
That's all. It's just about lying.
All right.
But you have to put it in terms that people can understand. We got to reach out to the youth, right? It's always the same.
Jesus Christ.
The youth are our future, so we want them to understand what we're talking about.
And they should be speaking English.
I mean, that's hard. That's
if they are living in the United States.
And remember, new words come into the language all the time, so that's the problem. So then the second question is, are they sweating around you and it's not summer? And the third question you ask yourself is, are their hands clammy?
You're nuts.
So if you can answer yes to all those, then they're definitely spying on you.
How do you visually see if someone's hands are clammy? That's why you don't even make sense, though. Because you're not even taking this seriously at all.
That's messed up.
Are you holding hands with this person to know their hands are clammy?
No, you go and shake your neighbor's hand sometime,
and then you somehow say, "Hey, your hands are clammy. They must
no,
be
you
kept it on the regular."
if they're clammy, that's just a sign. You know, because why are they clammy around you? That's weird. That doesn't make sense.
Maybe their glucose levels are low.
People's hands clam up because they got a secret they don't want you to know.
Okay. Well, according to simplysweethome.com, there's an article where they say there's 7 signs that you could identify if a neighbor is watching you and like what to do. So some of these signs include the following. I'll see if we hit all 7. They know confidential information about you. Creepy. Your mail has been tampered with. They're stalking
extreme.
your social media page. You can catch them watching you, which is unfortunate.
That's not fair.
They know your schedule, and then there's evidence that someone's been in your home. And those are the 7. So,
I guess, yeah.
You know, if you want to know more about that, definitely click on the link. All of our links that we refer to are in the episode on WokeNFree.com, but all of those just terrified me.
Well, that could just be the FBI that's on your trail.
Even better.
So that's just something to think about. Maybe it wasn't a neighbor. Ask my questions and you'll get to the bottom of it.
All right, sir.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Sarabia lives in a gated community, which he's only resided in for the past 4 months. For the last Friday of each month, he hears a large crashing sound from the neighbor across the street. Should he investigate what's happening here, or just ignore it altogether?
Wow. Like I said, because I have this like reference point where like I was involved in this incident where, I had a neighbor not been paying attention, like, I could have, been in a worse situation in life that, I do appreciate when neighbors kind of are caring and do look out, but I would say you also have to be mindful of your own well-being. So it probably is just best to, instead of investigate and kind of be that do-gooder, probably first call the authorities. And then if Sarabi feels, able to do more investigation on their own, then can go out, but just make sure, still being safe and you're taking appropriate measures and action is what I would suggest.
All right. Yeah, I don't think you can ignore this altogether. And I actually think you should investigate it yourself just to make sure it's not even a real thing because, I mean, I know there's some people who go to the police, any little thing happens, like a cat from the street is walking out and they're like, oh no, go to police. But I think you should see, is this a real situation or am I just overreacting? Okay. And then after that, then you could decide, all right, this seems bigger than me. Let me involve somebody else. All right. And see what's going on there. Scenario 2. Lamia was interested in purchasing a bike that comes with a personal trainer subscription. While walking by one of her windows, she noticed that her neighbor has that exact same bike she was interested in. By sheer luck, she realized she could see the screen perfectly from her window as well. Should Lamia spy on her neighbor in order to view the personal training sessions for free?
Absolutely not. I think that is definitely not appropriate because, if you're investing in your health and well-being, even if you can get something for free, these programs, cost money and there's production and, you should have you should invest in your own wellness. At the end of the day, like we have no problem investing in getting things that we want, like clothes or food or shoes. So why wouldn't you want to invest in your health? Even if you have kind of this sly way that you can get health elsewhere, like put in the work and do you and don't infringe upon other people's investment. All
right. I agree with you that she shouldn't do this, but it's actually for different practical reasons. So the biggest issue with this is she going to be on this person's schedule? Like she's that strange. Like I'm going to work out exactly when you work out. Okay. And also, is that person always going to have the blinds open so you can see directly in there? Sure. To me, I don't know. This just seems like this is not going to work out. This was just a one-time thing. You saw that and it was weird, but you shouldn't just continue to do it. It doesn't make sense to me. Scenario 3. Constance is on a high and buy basis with most of her neighbors. There is one neighbor, however, that constantly lets their yard fill up with junk, and they are actually never around. She honestly wonders if anyone really lives there. One day, the junk was removed from the house. Should Constance try to spy on her neighbor to figure out what is going on with them?
No, I don't believe so. Again, I'm never going to advocate spying on your neighbor unnecessarily, not unless you feel like your life is being threatened or your property is being threatened. What I would say is, typically if a property is, being listed, right, that's something that's out on the MLS. You can see if she suspects that the house is now up for sale and there's no one living there, she can go and discover that information. Real property, there's a lot of that's public knowledge. So there's a lot of information that you can go on your own and find out, but I would not go around with a flashlight and kind of jump their gate to jump in their backyard and see what's going on, and or kind of go up to the house and check through windows, because you don't know what's going on. And depending on where you live, I feel like I like to joke around that Arizona is definitely a shoot you first and greet you later kind of culture here. So
Yikes.
I would not in any way be interested in spying on anyone here, because I feel like you might get a bullet somewhere in your body.
Oh, okay.
So I just from a safety perspective, I don't think it's a wise idea for Constance.
All right, that's true. Yeah, I mean, this one, you gotta be very careful. She doesn't know what kind of people live there, so...
Yeah.
What if that's some sort of, criminal organization, and they're doing some... Mm-hmm. That's where they store all their stuff, and they see you peeking around and snooping, and they're like, who's this person? And now they come and start talking to you every day. I don't know. I wouldn't get involved in this one. Just let it go, because it's not like it's affecting you. Mm-hmm. And if they're coming in front of your house, hopefully you're going to put up a camera or something and you can watch to see that they're not intruding on your property. But I don't think you need to go onto this random property that you don't even know the people who live there. Definitely. You can just leave it alone.
Absolutely. It's safety first, guys. And with that, it looks like we're at that time again. Oh my goodness. It's coming to the end of our 217th episode of Woke and Free. Quite the episode, asking the question, would you ever spy on your neighbor? What do they have to do now, Khalil?
Come back next week for the new Woke and Free Wednesday episode. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for Woke and Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
All folks interested in being guests on our show should go to our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com to submit their story. And of course, you can always find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, at Woke and Free, as well as YouTube. Definitely make sure you hit us up there. And sponsorships, collaborations, same page, Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do, share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woke and Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woke and Free is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.